Hello, welcome. I'm Michelle Swan-Young. We're talking today about one reason why it's so important for us, especially as parents, to cultivate a sense of calm and connection with ourselves in our lives. And today I want to talk about how that calm and connection allows us to live authentic and meaningful lives and allows us to live from our values, our deepest values, the things that we want to hold dear to us, the things that we want to be true about our lives, rather than just the immediate frustrations that we might feel. So I talked in an earlier video about how the stress response is a defensive response. We're trying to defend against a threat when the stress response is activated. And that's meant to keep us safe. But if we stay in that place of defense, then we're prioritizing our immediate safety above all else. But immediate safety is not usually our deepest value. And prioritizing our immediate safety can actually come in conflict with our very deepest values. So I would love for you to take a moment right now and just reflect. What is one thing that you deeply value? You might want to just write down on a piece of paper. You might speak it out loud. If you have a journal, it's a good place for that. But just take a second. This does not have to encompass everything you value deeply, but just one thing. So some of the things that I've heard people say that they value, these are just a few options to help you understand what this means, would be things like love, connection, meaning, trust, truth, equity, justice, growth. Those are all things that people can deeply value. So when you've come up with just that one thing that you value, which, like I said, doesn't have to be the only thing you value, but just something, take a moment to notice when you really focus on that thing, how does that feel in your body? You might feel a sense of warmth or maybe coolness. Maybe you have a sense of either tightness or relaxation. You might feel a sense of energy or a settling. Notice if you feel constricted or if you feel more open. Just as you focus on that thing, see if you can name one characteristic of how it feels in your body. And then how about in your emotions? Can you name one emotion that you feel if you're focusing on this thing that you value? Maybe you feel more hopeful. Maybe you feel a sense of love. Maybe you feel deep meaning. Maybe you feel connection. Maybe you feel joy. Just pick one word that might represent a little bit about how you feel. So whatever it is, whatever value that you chose and however you felt in your body and in your emotions about that, I will say that usually those values, like I said, are not based on keeping ourselves always and immediately safe. Usually they're based in love. And the words we use might be nuanced and varied, right? But this core idea, the deepest idea, is usually rooted in love. And love in our minds and bodies is not embodied so well in a stress response. It's embodied more in the calm response. And I want to be really clear that I'm not saying that you can't be stressed and also experience love, either giving, receiving, or the feeling of it. That is not what I'm saying at all. What I am saying is, as we bring the stress response back down into something that is more manageable, then we're able to source our energy and our motivation and our way of being in life more from love than from fear, because fear is sort of the core of this stress response. We've seen a threat. It's natural and normal and right for us to be afraid of a threat and to do something to neutralize it, to defend against it. But our core values usually aren't so much about defending against threats. They're usually about positive ways that we want to exist in the world when there isn't a threat, or positive ways that we want to interact with people and perhaps change the world in a way that isn't so much focused on a stress response or against or focused on defending against something. So if we want to live from our deepest values, from that root of love, which is probably the root of whatever value you chose, then we have to keep cultivating that, coming back to the connection with ourselves, coming back to a sense of calm, a sense of safety, so that we're not inciting this defensiveness, but that we're able to connect back to those values and to that root of love instead of fear. One way that you can do this is to learn to take a pause whenever you are starting to feel those stress response or those difficult emotions starting to bubble up in your body. And you can absolutely do this on your own. Just when you start to notice that, just take a pause and reconnect. Whatever kind of practice helps you to reconnect back to yourself and to those core values that you hold. If you want more help in really experiencing that process and learning some tools to help through that process, I do have an online course called Discovering Calm, A Parent's Guide to Simple Tools for Keeping Your Cool. And I will link to that in the description for this video. So that's just if you want a little more guidance or if you need a little more help in your exploration. But maybe you can consider the next time that you start to feel that stress response rising in your body, how could you pause? How could you take a moment and reconnect and to bring yourself back to a sense of calm so that you can really live from your truest values instead of from that immediate reaction, that immediate frustration that might be happening in that moment. All right, I hope that this has been helpful for you. Please like this video if it has been and subscribe. And I hope that you have a wonderful day and take good care.